ready. Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan. I despise Hallmark Christmas movies, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello.
Oh, boy.
Hello.
Are you okay?
What's
I
happening?
just saw this shirt on camera for the first time.
So in this movie, A World Record Christmas, they wear this exact cardigan.
This
and we
one
all
right here.
decided that we were going to wear ours in support
Our Christmas
as
cardigans.
our Christmas cardies.
Yes.
And Bran was like, I don't like Christmas anymore. Give me a sheet and I will throw it over me.
Draw a Christmas
green.
tree.
Can I just real quick? I
Look at this thing.
This is something. He is late to perform at a Christmas-only Smash Mouth cover band.
Yep. Get him on stage.
You look like if there was a Christmas-only Smash Mouth cover band, that would be pretty great.
It
It
would.
looks like you're ready. If you're watching philo.tv/DTH, I mean, it's a bowling shirt is
Yeah.
what it is. Couldn't get his Christmas cardi out though.
No.
Said he wouldn't participate.
might as well be sucking candy canes. Bum, 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 bum.
You went for not all-star
Yes.
there.
Somebody once told me the king is gonna come. I ain't the sharpest wise man in the land. I don't know. We'll get there.
Shirt's working.
Yeah,
These
shirt's
are all
working.
pretty good ideas.
Yeah.
So you can say what you want to. The reason why I don't have my cardigan
It's
is
'cause you don't
because
believe in Christmas
is
anymore.
because I wear it around town.
Where
You
are
hooligans. You
Christmas?
hooligans.
Bran can't find you.
You hooligans, keep it at the office. I wear
Where
mine
we need it.
around town.
We both went. We got ours out of the car. We brought it with us, right?
Just
That's
keep them
exactly
handy
right.
at all
Yes.
times,
Yeah, you
just
can-
in case.
Dan, you're always wearing that.
I'm
You're
always
just
wearing
always
this car around
nonstop.
town. I'd wear it more, but it doesn't have pockets.
That is, I was just looking for
Yeah,
some, and I
yes.
forgot. That's
100%.
a big. We can sew. What?
I do.
Oh, doesn't
Just a
he has
bit- well,
one
one.
pocket?
Uh-oh.
Call that a
I don't
pocket?
want these pockets.
Okay, put your hands up.
Just go ahead and jiff that.
Hey, go to mine.
Go to
two.
yours. Go to 2. Wow, wasn't
Great
worth
job.
it. Not even a little bit.
Okay, we
No.
don't need that from you.
You need a little bit. You need
Wish
a
we
little
could-
bit.
Wish we could do that. Something like that.
Hey now, it's the Yuletide. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that. Hey
That's
guys,
so
how's
good.
it going? Merry Christmas. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good.
So good.
Happy
Brian.
Thanksgiving.
By fire ants this weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving
You did
week.
what?
Yeah, I got attacked by a bunch of ants.
In Greenville
Yeah.
in November?
That's what I'm saying. What are they still doing out?
No, they should be dormant
Dude,
by now.
I'm all itchy.
Did they all
and-
wait to bite you at once? Or was
Yeah,
it multiple
your
stings?
wrist-
Wrist is massive.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
swollen up.
Yeah.
My ankles. I was doing some yard work.
Did they eat some peanuts first?
You know, that might have been it. That. Oh man, I
Dude,
got to add this to
fire
the
ants
list.
will coordinate attack you.
It was. They were.
You know, and yeah,
They're
that,
smart.
Yeah, that Greenville's amazing, but the fire ants, look
out
out.
of control.
Yeah, look out.
Too much. Maybe we're spending too much time on like parades and shutting down downtown, and not enough time getting rid of the fire
There's
ants.
no way to get. There's just no way. Like you're just
brutal.
in for it. It's just, you know.
I did end up emailing
you
Knox
did?
about the statue, as you guys remember last
Yes,
week. I
yes,
talked about
yes.
it. I have not received a response
It's crazy.
back.
It's like he's got better things to do.
Well-
it's just unbelievable. He also heard you don't even love Christmas anymore.
But here is the thing. I
Probably a
am.
big part of it.
We are going to be at the parade downtown. We're
Yeah,
gonna
we
be, commentating it once again, live streaming and all that good stuff. I will stop him in the street and I'll say, "Hey, Knox, did you get my email?"
Noxie. You got to call him Noxie.
Per my last
Noxie.
email.
Yes, per my last email, you didn't respond. Were you busy celebrating the election that you wanted that info for you? Maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'll keep you posted. But as of right now, no new statue of Brand going in downtown Greenville. But still, not a reason to not come because it's a great city. So much festive stuff to do downtown.
So much.
It's
It
just a
looks
lot of
great
fun.
right now too.
You know what else looks great is the Holiday Hub on Philo right now. It is blowing
Poppin'.
up. Blowing up. So many channels playing Christmas movies. Even the classics out there, Dan, you can watch. There's the Elf that's going to be airing and all the Christmas
Yeah,
classics.
AMC's doing some classics.
They are. AMC's got the classics over there. So if you don't already have Philo to watch this show, and all the movies that we're covering, philo.tv/DTH.
I'm really excited, Brand. I've not told you this, but I got tickets for my kids to see Elf in the movie theater.
Love it.
And they don't know it.
Love
it.
It's this Sunday, and my kids are going to lose their ever-loving minds.
Yeah,
They watch it every year. One of my kids talks about Buddy the Elf 12 months a year.
He's your one outdoor Christmas decoration.
Yes, that's right. To see, and he really leads the charge in all of it. If he asks his mom nice enough, she caves on all that stuff, which God love her. I don't blame her. But to see him on the big screen, going to be a big deal. He actually broke Buddy the Elf's drawstring in here because he pulled it so many times.
Been there.
So
We've all
you know,
been there. Yeah.
very exciting. That's next weekend though, and I'll tell you about it next
Can't
Monday.
wait.
And we
Thank you.
on the Christmas morning schedule, we have it scheduled to talk about Elf later this week.
Are you running for office?
On a
What are
special
you
week?
doing here?
Great week of Christmas morning coming up.
That show's still in the air. It's
daily,
That's hard to
every
believe.
single day,
That's
every
hard
single
to
day,
believe.
and it's doing quite well.
Yeah, it is. People are listening.
People
They
love it.
Relatively.
They love the Christmas morning. Let's talk about a world record Christmas that originally aired on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries on November 16th, 2023. And it went a little something like this. Marissa and Eric are married and they decorate the city for Christmas because Eric works at the library and I guess that's also his job. It's a carryover situation. Eric is over making subtle suggestions that he would like to have a baby.
Shuttle suggestion.
I don't know what
Shuttle.
those words.
It's a shuttle
You should
suggestion.
take that shuttle, not that one. I say this shuttle is more comfy.
Just then, their
Shuttle
teenage son
suggestion.
Charlie comes in and they talk. Guys, I don't need it. Not this early, at least. Wait until the second segment. I don't know. Like, just
You're
then.
a real 7-10 split
We were,
here.
Brad, we were trying. We were trying to
Shuttle
win.
suggestions.
Oh man,
Who do you think you are?
I'm gonna bowl a turkey. Just then, their teenage son Charlie comes in and they talk about famous heralds such as Harold Styles, a joke that I got a good kick out of, to be honest with you. Charlie has autism and has different triggers, like when other kids call him Chucky, that bothers him, but when his friend Amy calls him Chucky, he does not mind it as much, if you pick up what I'm putting down. Apparently, this town loves breaking world records, and somebody from the Guinness World Record book is coming because the town is going to break the world record for wrapping presents on Christmas Eve. So Charlie takes a look at the book for inspiration because he kind of maybe wants to break his own record. That night, the family sits down to play a game of Jenga, but the game is called Short. After the fire alarm goes
You
off
won't be
due
able
to burning
restrain yourself
cookies.
after
We'll
a certain
try.
point here.
Charlie tells Marissa that he wants his birth dad to show up for Christmas, but he doesn't respond to any of his emails. So he's going to write him and tell him that he's going to break a Guinness Book of World Records record, and maybe that'll get his attention. Charlie doesn't call Eric dad, and it's something that Marissa tells Charlie that he can do whenever he feels comfortable doing. It's apparently been a thing that they've been talking about for a while. Eric and Marissa haven't been on a date for a long time, and they finally go on one, but mainly they just talk about Charlie. Charlie is with Amy and her mom, but when Amy starts talking about a boy that she likes, that triggers Charlie and he locks himself in his room. So Amy's mom has to call Marissa and they cut the date short. He tells them that when I break my world record, people won't think that I'm weird anymore. So Eric encourages him to do it. Let's break a record. The next day, they get the number for the Guinness person that's going to be coming into town on Christmas Eve so they can try to convince them to take a look at Charlie breaking a record. Now, you might be wondering, what's the world record that he's going to break? They don't know yet. They just want to get ahead of it, you know. Charlie wants to get a real Christmas tree this year after learning that Amy likes real Christmas trees, so they all go together. They're about to decorate it, but Marissa gets called into work, and she finds out that Charlie's dad is working in a town nearby. So she decides that she wants to pay him a visit and tell him to write Charlie back. After decorating the tree, Marissa gives Charlie some new Jenga blocks, and after reading up on the Jenga world record for stacking blocks on top of a vertical block, Charlie says, I can break that. She tells Peter, Charlie's dad, that Charlie is waiting on him to respond to his emails. He's like, "Oh, he must have the wrong email. Here's my card. This is a new one. Also, let's get dinner." But that dinner does not last long when she finds out that he has been living in that town for 2 years and has never once tried to see Charlie. She leaves. The next day, Marissa and Eric convince the Guinness folks to come and give him a shot on Christmas Eve. But when Marissa gives Charlie his dad's business card, Eric is like, "WTF, where'd that card come from, man?" It takes some time, but she finally comes clean, and he's like, "Totally makes sense why you would come and go and see him, but hey, you gotta be honest with me, seeing as how we're married." And then they kiss. It's all good, baby. The next day, Charlie's on the local news and freezes, so Amy comes up, helps him out. They then go ice skating together as Marissa and Eric watch and talk about their own love story. So my guy Charlie decides to shoot his shot and gives Amy a heart necklace, and she says, "Hey, you're my best friend, and I don't want things to get weird." He takes that as she is calling him weird, and he runs to his room. Eric goes and talks to him to help him feel better. It's Christmas Eve, and Charlie gets an email from his dad saying... It's Christmas Eve, saying that he's coming. He's going to come and watch. Yay. Charlie is nervous, but he gets on stage and gets to work. He is 13 blocks away from breaking the record.
3 minutes left.
When he looks up and he sees that his dad is still not in the chair that he has set aside for him, he starts to cry. He accidentally bumps the tower with his knee and the whole thing goes down. He runs off, embarrassed. But his parents and Amy come and help and encourage him to give it another shot, even if it's not for the record officially. Before he starts, he leads Charlie over to the chair. He leads Eric over to the chair set aside for his dad and says, "Hey, this belongs to you. You're my dad." And oh my gosh, I'm just bawling over here at 10 a.m. on a Monday. He gets to work and Amy keeps count as the rest of the town begins to show up and support him. And he does it. Yay! Cut to 1 year later and there's a new baby in the family. Amy is over for Christmas and Charlie is crushing it as a big brother. And that, my friends, was World Record Christmas.
Shuttle
That's
suggestions.
right.
We did
That's a
it.
shuttle suggestion.
did.
I'm Sean Connery, and this is
Oh,
a
we got the
shuttle
Sean
suggestion.
Connery somehow.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down here on Take the Hallmark.
Take the Hallmark.
Hello, everybody.
we're back.
It's great to be here today on a Tuesday, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And if you guys think we're taking Thanksgiving off, you're wrong.
No, we'll be in here, not spending time with our families. We'll be in here. 3 a.m. We'll be recording that episode
3
live in
a.m.
the studio. That's right.
That's exactly right.
Everybody's got to come in. No day off for us.
No day off. I mean, we get to go home after that.
Yeah, after that.
But-
yeah. Of course.
Not till the work's done.
We have posts. We have, you think we don't stick around and talk about what went wrong in every
Of
episode?
course.
We do a full breakdown.
It's actually really intense.
It gets pretty
Yeah, it's really intense.
It's a boiler room
heated. Yeah,
situation.
it is. Yeah. A lot of yelling, a lot of throwing things.
Yeah.
If you think that Dan calls out every single one of my mistakes live, you're wrong.
He
he
saves a
actually
little for
holds
post.
some. He holds some of them for the post
I
game.
saved the good ones for the post game. I don't
Yeah.
want to embarrass you. You and your
That is.
The real
non-cardigan.
sensitive one.
That's right.
Let's get to the hot take. It is where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back. Brian, what you think of a world record Christmas?
Yeah, I thought this was really well done. I didn't dislike it. I would say I kind of liked it. I was not
Didn't dislike.
I did.
Yay.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't
Ooh.
watch it again.
Oh.
Whoa, look at us moving around
Look
real
at
time.
you.
Oh my gosh.
Is
are we
Whoa.
okay?
Whoa.
Hold
Is this an
on.
earthquake?
Stay still, man.
You got it, Aaron?
I think-
Aaron's
I
doing
think-
Stay
some
still.
on-
We good? All right, great.
Aaron is now holding the camera
Yeah, with her bare hands.
during the
Single
earthquake
cameras.
to try to
That's right.
secure
Very
it.
artistic.
I think the earthquake's done. We're
Right,
good.
Good.
Feel better.
Yeah.
This feels good. It's this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Same one for the last
one
year
she's
or
been
so.
holding.
Yeah. That's right.
So I don't know that I would watch it again, but I'm really glad that I did watch it and I saw it. I feel like the emotional tone was like right on point. There are some things some choice decisions in there that
There's
I
some
didn't
choice
really,
decisions.
really like some things that she did, like keeping secrets I didn't really like. they made this dad is the worst.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. Every week, like they keep I don't think they can do it, but they keep making the dads worse and worse than they did.
Good luck beating this one.
This is an
This is
all-timer.
a tough one.
All-timer. Worse than the guy who kicked his family out,
Yes,
obviously.
which is impressive because he did leave him that fun scavenger hunt. I want to be
this
very
guy,
clear about
this
that.
not even there was a
It's
little
somehow
bit.
worse that he did end up showing up. And
We'll
just
talk
watched
about it
from
later.
afar.
Yeah, that's a huge weight.
It's almost
for me.
worse.
I don't get it.
It
I
just
don't get why
kept
they
getting.
did
He
that.
kept getting worse. Like
Yeah.
you're just like I have an idea. But to make up for that, we did. I mean, they're keeping this streak going of terrible dads and really clever Christmas trees because we got a library book.
Great
I feel
Christmas
like at
tree.
the end of this season, they're going to show you a montage of
All
all the Christmas
if
trees
they
not
don't,
made out
we
of
will.
tree.
It's been a good year.
We
Yeah.
got to do that.
Been a good
That's
year.
Phenomenal
I
idea.
mean, save for the lobster trap one, obviously.
Well, that one
if
was
people
really
on the
great,
internet
too.
did not like that, I did not like that lobster trap.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
it's a
people on the
great
internet
book.
are correct.
Yeah, they're not wrong about anything.
All right. Whatever.
Almost ever.
Spend time with your
Ever.
kid. Just spend time with your kid. Don't make it go. Don't go make a lobster trap tree.
It's a great
easy.
tree. And so yeah, that was kind of that. I'm glad I saw this. I probably won't watch it again, but really, I think it was really, really well done.
So you guys know me. I don't typically like the big sads. I try to stay away from them. That was my fear going into this. It was going to be big sads. I felt like they handled this really, really well. And this obviously has some sad moments. Has moments that had me bawling in my chair at 10 a.m. on a Monday. But also was just a really charming movie. And I thought that Nikki, once again, delivered. I just, every year, I'm just like, son of a gun. She's just so good. I liked basically everybody in this movie. I just thought crushed it. The kid playing Charlie was fantastic. Blown away by this world record. Like they keep saying on a vertical block, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. And then I see what I'm just
know
no, I
what
know.
a vertical-
Obviously, I know what vertical means. I just don't know
can't
how
picture?
I can't picture how you stack
So
that
the
many
word block
blocks.
was the issue.
I just don't
It's
know
the
how.
combination, I think, vertical and block.
Vertical and block.
So when they said vertical block, you immediately pictured exactly
One
how it was
tall
going to be.
Jenga block.
One
I
Not
didn't know-
that. What I'm saying,
structure.
the
Oh,
structure
no, I
itself.
couldn't picture that.
They keep
No.
saying we're stacking with a vertical block on the bottom, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
To see it happen and
Yeah.
to see it done, and then to go on Google and like check out like how people have done it, it's amazing. So really cool concept just in general. But I thought the movie was just really, really good. I would watch this one again. I don't typically go back to the big sads, but I just thought this movie was so good. Gave me so many feelings other than just sad, and the performances were just phenomenal. One of my favorites of the year so far. Dan?
Yeah, I knew early on it was going to be an uphill battle for me to give any sort of critique of this movie. I knew real early on. I was like, this is going to be a tough watch. It hit home for me as a parent on a number of fronts. And so it's hard for me to be critical. I do think a lot of it is kind of contrived, a Christmas Eve, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that in the wait what's. But they get the big part of parenting a different kid. In my opinion, they get it right. I mean, whatever that is, like, you know, a lot of kids are neurodivergent or have something that makes them at least appear or seem atypical. And I think as a parent, you have two things that you want at the same time. Outwardly towards the world, you're desperate for people to judge your kid by any other measure than the one of typicality or whatever you want to call it. That's not a word, right? But you want them to just see how amazing your kid is and how kind they are and how tenderhearted and how wonderful they are, and to not be judged by one mold. And then simultaneously, you turn inward and you want your kid to know that they're enough and they don't need to change. And it's hard. It's hard to do that as a parent, and it's hard when the demands are different. And this movie crushes that we can talk about all the other stuff later, but how they picture those two things, I think, is incredibly accurate and incredibly moving. And, you know, and it's not hard. That's the other thing is it's tough because you want the best for your kids, but it's not hard. You do anything in the world for your kid. And I think Nikki DeLoach being tired because she works all day and then she parents this kid is great, but it never comes off as hard. Like she'd rather be doing something else.
Right.
Lucas Bryant is the kind of stealth, like, sleeper of this movie. The way that he parents this kid that's not his biological kid, never asking for anything in return and doing so incredibly well and being like strong and engaged was unbelievable. So was there stuff in this movie that it was an eye roll schmaltzy? Yes, for sure there was. But you tackle a movie like this, you have to get that parenting portion right. And they did. It's the first time I've ever cried in one of these movies. And was that earned? I would maybe disagree with Brandon if it was earned. I felt like I was a mark from the beginning of the movie. I saw where it was going. I knew it was going to happen. And it didn't matter. That the movie had me at that point. So yeah, I don't really know how to give it a ranking. I'll put it somewhere in there. But yeah, it is. They do the hard stuff right.
Yeah. And to that point about Lucas Bryant, like I thought one of the things that did great in this movie, his character kind of battling that this kid isn't calling me dad. And like, I do wish that he would, but he never made it about himself, especially when talking to the kid. And like, you have those moments as a parent where you're beating yourself up and you're like, what could I do better? What could I do better? And that happens to every parent. But I imagine it's like amplified in this situation when the kid hasn't even called you dad yet, because of what this kid is working through as well. And so, thought he crushed that because he has those conversations with his wife, but it never affects the way in which he parents the kid.
And most realistically, and I wrote this down word for word, now that my screen's timed out, I must have talked too long. As parents, we worry more about things in our kids' lives than they'll ever worry nearly as much about. And so that's true if no matter who your kid is or what their plight is in life, you do. Like, I remember when my kid went to K-5 and my wife was like so worried he wasn't going to eat enough because he eats all day long. He eats like every hour. Right. And so she puts all these snacks in there, and he's literally the first 3 days of school, the teacher is teaching. He's just standing up and walking over to his book bag and getting a snack. Like, all the other kids are sitting there and he's like, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat. And it never occurred to him to worry about it. You know what I mean? He doesn't worry about things like we would worry about them. And so this movie captures that very, very well. I mean, the kid is worried about this girl he likes, but he's not worried about all these other challenges. And so having both of them, Lucas Bryant and Nikki DeLoach, they just did such an amazing job not making this a charity case and not making this some like just super sappy, melodramatic. I think the parenting in this movie really carries it when sometimes the rest of it is like, okay, it's Christmas Eve and we're stacking Jenga blocks. Like that. Right. That is, so I think that really helps it a lot.
Yeah. How'd you say it?
Jenga. So
Jenga.
I will say I thought about this a long time, and
just to recap real quick for people that don't listen to every episode.
Jenga.
So Dan got really mad at the way in which I said Jenga
you said it with an A. Here's the thing: is my southernness leans into the ing, and that is wrong. Jenga is wrong. Jenga, A-N-G is wrong. It's Jenga. So J-E-N-G-A, right? Jenga. Not Jenga.
I just want
Jenga.
Everybody thinks everyone thinks
Jenga.
You're wrong. Everyone thinks you're wrong.
Everyone says it and they're like, yeah, like this. And
like
then they
Jenga.
go Jenga.
Like Jenga.
You said Jenga. You did not say
Jenga.
That's an A. You're saying an A.
Right. That's
it's
how you say it.
No,
that's how you say
not.
Jenga.
Wrong.
The E makes an A sound.
You're wrong.
Jenga. I used to
the
think
E
you had it right.
An A sound.
It's not an A.
No, it does not. That's
the
true.
E,
No.
the
You know, when you say pin, do you say pin or pan?
I say pin.
Okay. Pinga. Add G-A to that. Pinga.
Just because
Jenga. Not
just
Jenga.
because
I say it wrong too. Jenga is wrong.
Just because you
Jenga.
talk it through doesn't make it any more right.
It does, in fact.
Jenga.
I had to explain it more to you.
No,
but
it's just like
it's
sometimes
fine, it's fine. You can be wrong.
Here's the thing.
You don't even have
Sometimes
Christmas anymore, Brandon.
Sometimes I bought a Christmas bowling shirt.
Yeah.
To make up
all we
for
can
it.
see is a green sheet. We don't have any way to see anything.
It's an
You spilled
absolute-
cranberry sauce.
You're just
on.
trying. Now this reeks of
is
trying
this
too
is a
hard.
night-
You don't have your Cardi B around. It's like, what can I do to make up for it? Christmas bowling shirt.
It's a nightgown on me. All I'm saying is sometimes things are their own thing, you know? It's time for all the feels. This is where we talk about what this movie gave us those feels. Brian?
Mine was going to be you and me wearing seeing our cardies on
No, I got so excited. I got so excited.
But
Nicely
I don't want to make
When
it weird.
so
but
Nicely done.
first he walks in and he's wearing yours, and I'm like, that's Brian's sweater.
He's rocking my
and then like
There's a
red
30
one
minutes
later on,
later,
yeah.
where's the red one? I'm like,
red
that's
one.
my sweater.
Yeah.
And then Charlie's wearing my man.
it was all
It
over
worked.
the place. I was so excited for it.
I can't wait to wear it out on the town when I get home.
Can't wait
And
to
I pull
see
it
it
out of my
town. So my feels was I had a backup just in case something like this happened. The skating rink was awesome. Like it was decorated so it was lit beautifully. They had the fact that trees.
There's so many trees in that.
There were
skating
so many
rink.
trees, but for me, like I look at that, I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice to have some obstacles out there once in a while. Like sometimes I go to free skate. with my
Brian's
son.
redeeming himself from early
Sometimes
on in
I
the
go to
season.
free
When
I
he-
go to free
Could
skate.
you be more northern right now?
You go to a free skate, you throw on your
skate
skates,
with
you
my
hop out,
son.
throw on the ice, and you just after like 15 minutes of going around in circles and dodging kids with the things they're pushing, it's like, all right, now you ready to go? If there were trees, like a course, like
Like maybe
obstacle
with lights, the
course,
strings that are
Yeah,
plugged into something
yes.
that you could come and like wrap around your bladed skate.
yeah. Oh, imagine that. But if you got Christmas trees, you can skate around. Like
you
it
imagine
actually adds some level of more interest than just going around in circles. So that skating rink, I'm glad they spent a little time there because that was real cool. I had another one about being called dad, but I'll save that for someone else.
I mean, obviously, the dad stuff worked for me, and I cry almost every day about being a parent, and so this movie like didn't help. But I don't need to get into it. I'll go to this one. When they're laying outside on the blanket as the snow comes
yeah.
down, what a scene! I love that scene, and it just made me so happy, and so I'm happy that scene existed, especially like showcasing like a marriage relationship where you're just like you're trying to connect in the midst of the busyness of it all. Like sometimes those sweet, peaceful moments of just laying in the snow on a blanket doesn't get any better than that. Dana?
No feels over here, Brand. I'm just kidding. The scene where you see the sign for the reserve chair, and you know what's going to happen. You know that is, they're not going to load that gun and not pull the trigger, and so I did feel like it was like telegraphed pretty early on in the movie, but still worked for me. I don't ever tire of hearing my kids call me dad, and so. It worked.
I call you daddy all the time.
That
Though,
is
you
a
tell me to
difference.
stop.
That's not.
You tell
something
me to
we,
stop.
You do say stop, and I
it's
say,
not
Mr.
something
Thompson,
we
please.
talk about here.
You don't like you
different.
you keep saying you don't get tired of hearing
you sound
of hearing
exhausted.
dad, but
Different
I
thing.
call you daddy and you get mad and you say don't do that anymore.
Jenga.
Jenga.
The people in the chat are once again on you about this.
Wait a minute.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with Brian, and Daddy here on.
Take the Hallmark.
He doesn't get tired of it. Welcome back. Let's talk about this movie a little bit more.
Oh, sure.
Well, let's do the wait what. Is where we talk about what this movie made us go, wait, what?
Yep.
Brian, there's a lot of serious stuff in this movie. It's pretty serious stuff.
Pretty serious stuff.
Anyway, what stuff?
I found a few.
Okay.
Just a couple, a little handful of things here.
Okay.
She burnt cookies, right, in the oven, and he comes over and he just picks up the cookie sheet with his bare hand. Like,
Yeah, just no big deal.
just some of these, like,
He's a man's man.
I guess so. I mean, I didn't think he could make me feel any more inferior as a parent, but like seeing him pick up a scalding hot cookie sheet did the trick. It really.
I will say the fact that this guy never has even a hint of a raised voice the whole movie
dude, it's brutal.
is just like
it makes me angry.
Yeah, that's tough. That like you never
Yeah.
are like starting to like
How do you
twitch
do that?
and like it's impressive, man.
It is. He
It's
must go
yeah.
into a closet and just
Yeah.
rage.
Let's just go hard. Yeah, yeah.
But you're right. I didn't really think about it until you mentioned it about how it's sort of like they said setting out creating this movie. They're like, we have three goals. Obviously, get the autism aspect correct. Like,
Yes.
don't make that real. And then another one must have been we got to reverse engineer this to get Dan to not have anything negative to say.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
third was
Yeah.
probably like, let's set an example for like parents really doing a good job. Like,
Yeah.
you look at it, it's like an aspiring account of doing a really good job in hard situations. So that's not a wait what. That was just an observation. Back to the wait whats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this is the way What's an Observation
Yeah.
segment.
that's
I
right.
totally
Yeah.
forgot.
Next we have
Yeah.
shuttle suggestion.
Yeah. And then when they came up with the block party idea to raise money for autistic kids, they like a fully fleshed, immediate party planning session happened within seconds.
Yeah.
And I sort of like, that's not supposed to happen because you have to spend, go back and forth with terrible ideas. But also part of me was like, I'm glad that's over with. Like they did that so quick.
To zoom out on that, I do think this movie, in getting the parenting right, the actual plot of this movie happens in like bursts that are just so unrealistic.
Right. That's right.
Where it's like, we should do this. We'll plan a block party. It's done. Like it's very like, because they only have 84 minutes.
That's right.
And they've spent so much time making sure you understand the parenting challenges here that the movie is just like kind of happening in the background.
Yeah.
And that's a big one.
Yeah. That was something that just stood out. And this, he's stacking on like a stage, a propped up built stage, and just my paranoia is just like, ooh,
with
like
you.
I don't know, is that the best way to do this? Like, is that gonna be sturdy enough? And the last one was she just at the end, she's counting the blocks by hand. Like there's not an
There's got to be
app,
a better,
like something better than just doing the line. At least she was doing the by fives.
Yeah. The tally marks.
It's a bold move, though.
Yeah,
But
it is a
bold
bold move.
move.
A lot could go wrong there.
Yeah.
I want to know what the world record is for tally marks.
I'd say
Just
1,401.
making
Yeah, just doing it.
Yeah.
Just doing it without a break. I wonder what that record is. I got a couple. One, you talked about the cookies. The cookies burn in the middle of a Jenga game. And
Jenga.
they just give up for the night. You cannot stop Jenga mid game. If the tower's still up, you can't stop just because the cookies burn. You got to go back and finish that game, or just knock down the tower or something, because that would drive me nuts, guys. The tower's still up.
Jenga, one of my least favorite games.
Oh, I got my Jenga hands. You guys know that about me.
Jenga.
Guys, I want to talk about a guy named Gary in this movie.
Gary.
So Gary is a guy who's in, I think, 3 scenes total. I don't really know who he is, what his role is. I do know that he's at the library checking out books when Marissa walks in and he says, "Wow, you look like $1 million." And he says that in front of her husband. Bold freaking move, Gary. Can you imagine saying, "Boy, you look like $1 million" to anybody's wife right in front of their husband? It's a bold move. You're asking for it, Gare Bear.
Most confident guy.
Gare Bear is just shooting his shot. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's just gonna say it. You look like $1 million. Last but not least, there's a bit of a situation here where she goes to the other town and meets with the birth father and all that stuff. When is it Eric? When Eric finds out about this, he's pretty chill, but then he's like, do you still like have any feelings for him? She laughs maniacally. And when someone laughs like that, it doesn't help with the feeling of insecurity.
No,
that makes me go, why are you laughing this hard?
Right, you're laughing real hard.
This seems like you're covering it up. You gotta tone down that laugh if you want to get your point across, because where she was at, you're lying. You still got feelings for this guy. You can tell by the laughter. Dano?
We have to at least camp on the old Christmas Eve Guinness challenge a little bit. Like, I think it's so unrealistic.
Not that type of Guinness challenge.
No, different Guinness challenge. It's so unrealistic that the folks over at Guinness are hosting any sort of Christmas Eve record, anything, and just how he gets on the books to do this. All of it just is so incredibly contrived on Christmas Eve to make this movie a Christmas movie, whereas you could have not had that in there and the movie still works just as well, and that's unfortunate. There is a massive wait what in this movie that both of you guys did miss. Lucas Bryant goes and talks to the bank, and the bank then decides to donate to Charlie's like charity of choice for autism research or like whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. They do not donate to the charity. They write Charlie a personal check.
Yeah.
The bank would never they have a chance to give 10 grand and write it off their taxes to a nonprofit. They just wrote a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, I don't know how old this kid is. They just wrote him a personal check from the bank. The bank is not what? I saw it and I couldn't believe it. The bank is right out here writing personal checks.
I was just mad that the bank made us look silly for only raising $11,000 in 24 hours.
That's right.
I was feeling real good about ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, man, we crushed it this year. And then this bank comes
Just
in with their
rolls
big
in
checks.
and didn't even do the write-off. They just
even do
wrote
it.
it to a kid.
They just said for
He
funsies.
could pocket that money.
Yeah.
You don't know. He could pocket
should.
that money. It's unbelievable.
Teach them a
He
lesson.
wouldn't.
Oh, he would never.
Of course not.
They, to your point, Brian, they find out, they figure out the Jenga blocks idea somehow later in the movie than I thought they would, but
Right.
also way too quickly.
Yes.
Like it's like 35 minutes of movie, and they're like, "Oh, he's going to break a record. We don't know what it is." And then somebody reads the Jenga block thing, and he's like, "I can do that." And they're like, "All right, that settles it." And then they move on.
Yeah.
It takes 10 seconds, and you might want to see if you can at least like
Yeah, try it out a
do
little.
100.
Yeah.
Like you got to do 1,400. Do 100 and see what happens. I did think it was weird. I don't know if it's a wait what or not, but Nikki DeLoach's character going to this town and doing it kind of under different pretenses, not telling her husband where she's going. It's her life. It's her ex-husband. It's not his ex-husband. She can do what she wants to do. But I do think there was something about the way that played out where I just felt like she would have communicated like, Charlie wants his dad there. I'm just trying to get his dad there. And so I'm going to stick around here late to go and do that. I think it was tough. I get the character motivations, but I kind of was like, I just don't feel like this character would go about it this way with this much secrecy. And so that was a little bit weird. But then lastly, this is the worst father, biological father on the planet.
Yeah.
Is he on cocaine?
I don't. All I know
At
is
least
this: is
cocaine.
that I just don't
That's the
understand.
least of his substance abuse.
I don't understand the rationale of having him show up at the end and then seeing that Lucas Bryan is up there giving him a hug and then just kind of walking off. Are we supposed to sympathize?
Are we supposed to like applaud him?
And
Look,
let's
get up for real, Dad.
I just don't. I don't know. Either make him someone who is regretful of his decisions and regretful for not spending time with his kid, who shows up and still realizes he hasn't been the dad all along. That's fine. Character growth is good. Or just have him be, you've made him the worst person. You can't have him be the worst person and then just show him he did. Dad said he's coming on Christmas Eve. He did.
He did come.
He did. He kept his promise. I like, you can't, it just felt weird for the movie. So that's all I got.
I feel like if they were going to do that, this is like literally my only critique. I feel like I would have rather him come and then after he does it, he goes and hugs Eric instead or something like that. That showcases, hey, you've been absent this whole time.
That's right.
Like something like
Yes.
that. Because he's just seeing it and he never has to deal with it with the kid.
Yeah.
No.
He just gets to watch it from afar and then walk away.
Yeah, and the kid gets no closure.
No.
The kid still doesn't get any closure.
He probably left his car running. Too.
Yeah.
He just-
Charlie still.
I said I'd come, I came.
Charlie still doesn't think his dad showed
Yeah.
up.
No.
Still.
Still doesn't know.
That's real bad.
Yeah,
So,
it's a move. It's a move. It's time for What the Hallmark is, where we wonder what could have been, maybe help and give some clarity. Any questions that we still have. Brian, what are you still wondering about?
So the town's record was to wrap gifts, and they wrapped 1,522 gifts.
Nice.
What did they wrap? Like,
Nothing.
What was in that?
I think it's just boxes.
I hope not, because that's so wasteful. Like they were doing a charity drive for off the tree, you pull something that somebody needs. I'm hoping it was tied to that, or they're giving these gifts to people and they had 1,500 gifts to donate. But my fear is that those were just empty boxes and we wasted tape, wrapping paper, box, all this stuff. And I just hate that might happen.
You're not a big guy for waste.
I don't like the waste.
You love to keep all the dipping
Yeah.
sauce packets around here.
And extra straws that are
Extra-
given
no,
to us. Yeah.
It's just it's part of the deal.
Might need it someday. Burritos, half-eaten burritos, what have you.
Yeah.
Mine's I don't know. I think it's the only person that cares about this is me, and I'm just curious as to like the logistics of this. So 2 times in this movie, they're talking about, hey, we should have a family movie night.
Yeah.
We should watch my favorite movie, Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Both times they mention this movie, they just say Christmas Story.
They don't say
a Christmas Story. Can you not say the name
There's no
of
way.
another movie, like the full title, without like paying for it?
I can't. They have to be able to say that. That's a great question.
I don't know. It stuck out to me, but I think it's probably just a me thing. But I'm like, why did they say it both times? Why'd they say Christmas Story? I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe that's what people say. and I'm just over here overthinking it.
Yeah,
but
probably.
just a question. Like it's not. I know like you can play like really old movies because you don't have to pay for it. Like is there something there because it's a
Save
a
the
movie
time.
from
It's
the
got to be like an inside joke.
maybe
Maybe
Christmas
something.
Story. I don't know. Dano?
Mine's also something that could probably be answered. The Guinness World Record adjudicators.
Nice.
Do they really not give out their contact? Like, do you have to? Is that job something you have to do as a secret? Like,
People like, don't tell people I'm an adjudicator.
The way that they like, he's like, you didn't get this number from me. Like, is it are you not allowed to? It's the Guinness World Record is pretty straightforward. They just show up to make sure you do it right. They're not judging you. They're not giving you
It's
an
not like
8
a
out
food
of
critic
10.
showing up at a restaurant
No,
and
it's
they're
not
not
like
supposed
a
to
food
be.
critic. It's just the job of the adjudicator to be there to certify it. Why do they like? It was a big plot point in this movie, which was I do know the adjudicator, and you didn't hear it from me, but here is their number. And when they call her, she's never like, "Where'd you get this number?" She just acts like it's
not a big
normal.
deal at all.
I don't like because when she shows up, everyone's gonna know who she is. I didn't.
She makes an announcement, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Speak as well.
I just didn't
I
understand
was
that.
honestly like kind of blown away by how snazzy they looked too. Like she looked super snazzy.
Very snazzy.
The Guinness
Very
snazz.
Yeah.
I've
It
always
is the
said
Guinness
that.
snazz.
It's the
Almost as
Guinness
good as these
snazz.
cardies over here.
These two.
Speaking of
cardigans.
snazz,
Yes.
no one is more snazzy than Vic Webster.
Yeah.
And you might be wondering,
said that.
was there any fighting in this movie? I don't know. There was maybe some misunderstandings, some heartbreak, maybe a little of that. But was there a fight? Let's find out. Here's a fighting chance with Vic Webster.
Fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Was the fighting in the movie? Did someone get hurt? It's a fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Vic Webster.
This movie had so much action, but it must have ended up on the cutting room floor.
A fighting chance with Vic Webster. Vic Webster.
Oh man,
That was a close one.
That was a close one.
Had me.
It's not called Close Call with Vic Webster.
No, it's
though.
not.
It's called
That's
Fighting
exactly
Chance.
right. That's exactly right.
That's right.
Hey, we're gonna be done. We're gonna call it a day. We're gonna
All
wipe
right.
our,
You wanna
wipe
do it
our
again
hands of
tomorrow?
this episode, but we will be back tomorrow
Phew.
with another episode, Navigating Christmas.
Okay.
I was gonna jump in on that,
I
but
didn't
I
know
didn't
where you
really
were
know
going.
where to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Dan will know. Navigating Christmas. Da-da-da-da-da. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then,
Lighthouse
maybe the first
7.
wish. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.